Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode talking about making it happen. I am the author of the upcoming book, Make It Happen, a guide to creating a life you love and not settling for the one you have. And I'm very excited today for our next guest, Cara Lenz. Hey, Cara.
Hey.
So Kara has a very interesting story because I feel sometimes we do believe in our dreams and we do follow our dreams and we achieve them, but then we may realize that that dream is not all we thought it would be. And so, where do we go from there when you do have that type of experience? And so, Kara, could you tell us a little bit, just tell us a little bit about your background so we can get to know a little about you and kind of your journey into your career?
Perfect. Yeah, actually was going to be an accountant. I started in accounting back in the day, and through a long series of events and decisions, ended up in human resources. And so I've worked in HR for about 20 years now, and have worked in started in a small family owned business, which I loved, and then spent some time at the Best Buy corporate office, is here in Minneapolis. So I worked in HR there as a business partner, supporting various areas of the business, and then got a call. Luckily, got connected on LinkedIn from Apple. Got a call from Apple one day saying they had a position open that was supporting field leadership. So they needed somebody in my area. So I went through probably 3 months of interviews with Apple, because Apple does not take hiring lightly. It was a really long
I
process.
can imagine.
Yeah. And so I worked there for probably just under 5 years. And I did leadership development, a lot of leadership training, some employee relations stuff for a little bit, talent development, succession management for the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, uh, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and Colorado leaders. So
Wow.
yeah, so I did that for about 5 years. And about 4 years in, I have known for a long time I have the genetic defect that causes breast cancer and ovarian cancer. And so I've known about this for a long time and have been through that health journey. And although I loved my work and the people at Apple, I was on a plane maybe 3 weeks out of every four, and working nights and weekends. You're supporting retail, you're available all the time. And Apple requires a lot. They give a lot and they require a lot. And then I got a really, it's a blessing in disguise at the time, I got a really bad boss. And I really struggled with her. And I just was sitting in a coffee shop one day and realized, like, my mom died at 60, and my grandma died at 57. And I did not want to die young. And I knew my job was probably figuratively was killing me, but maybe literally as well. And so I quit my job to go move to a tropical island. And I, I, I don't
Let's
have
pause
kids, so
right there. Let's
I,
pause right there because this is just a journey upon a journey. So you went from working for Best Buy in accounting to getting this opportunity, having connections. So another great point about having connections, using that network, LinkedIn. So I want to ask first, was Apple on your radar? Like, that to me is a company and an opportunity that's like way up here. It's like off the scale. Like, that would be the dream. That would be the goal for some people, to work for a company like Apple, a company of that caliber, of that prestige. So was that anywhere on your radar? Was that a seed that you planted, or was that just an opportunity that came about that you were open to?
it was just an opportunity. A very strange story, actually, is I knew that it was time for me to leave Best Buy. And so I was interviewing for other jobs. I actually had taken another job. And my first week at a hospital system here in Minneapolis, my first week on the job, I got a call from Apple. And they said, "Hey, we saw on LinkedIn you work for Best Buy." And so I was very clear. I said, "Look, I actually am not at Best Buy. I started another job. I'm curious and interested because it's Apple, but I was excited about this new gig, but I wanted to connect." You don't say no to networking at minimum with Apple, right?
Right.
And so I actually viewed it as a networking opportunity. And I think that helped me in the interview process because I didn't really have a lot of skin in the, I wasn't too worried. I
Mhm.
didn't, I wasn't
Mhm.
interested in taking that job. So I didn't feel a need to oversell myself. I just was who I was in the interview process. And I took it more lighthearted because I actually had started this new job already that I was really excited about.
Right.
Um, and so I think that actually helped me in the interview process. But
Right.
yeah, Apple wasn't on my radar. I would have never thought that I could land a job at Apple. At Apple. So
But I like that you pointed out you were just yourself. You were one of the things that I write about in my book is I share my prep method. And part of that is eliminating, and a part of that is also relishing, and just kind of being who you are, enjoying where you are, kind of taking in where you are. But it sounds like you eliminated one thing. You said you knew it was time for you to leave Best Buy. So that was eliminated. You took on another opportunity, but somewhere along that process, the door was open for Apple to come to you
yes.
and
Yeah.
just embrace that.
Yes. And I do believe I believe in the power of having your heart open and being open to, I'm open to a lot of experiences. I've done a lot of kind of weird things in my life because I thought, well, why not? Like that sounds interesting. And how do we have as big of life as possible? And so
Right.
I think when you have that mindset, opportunities come to you that wouldn't if you're not kind of opening yourself up and kind of sending that energy out there.
Right. No, I wholeheartedly agree. So we get to Apple. You were sharing about the medical genetic concerns that you had based on your family, and you knew when this boss came, and we've all probably experienced that at some point, some kind of challenge within the workplace, or maybe personalities or things of that nature. So you realize at that point that that may be another opportunity to eliminate something else from your life, because you
Yeah.
wanted to focus on your health and you wanted to, I take it, just have an enjoyable life. Did you plan to just like up and move to an island, or was that how did that happen?
It was it was a place that I had visited several times. And so I had kind of found this island a few years prior, and had fallen into it. I found it randomly watching HGTV, and randomly booked a ticket once to go and fell in love with it. So it was a place I knew and had friends. I had been there several times. And so um, I knew that it was a place I wanted to spend more time at some point in my life. I was thinking that it was longer down the road. And so I actually was considering this, and then I'm a planner. And so what I wanted to do is I knew I didn't have enough money to retire. I am not a trust fund baby, and I have not been a good enough of a saver to retire at 45 years old. So um, I kept trying to put the plan together. And then something, as I was sitting and thinking, something just kind of triggered in me like, you're never going to have the whole plan for your life, Cara. Like you want to have the whole plan and you're never going to have it. You know, this is the next right step. I don't know why, and I don't know what's next. I don't know how I'm going to, make enough money to live past this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know right now for my health, you need to take this step. I had to trust in myself to figure out what would come after that.
Hmm.
Um, but I knew for my health, I needed to take this step.
So were you like that? It sounds really risky to leave this secure job with Apple to, kind of just free yourself to, okay, I'm going to move to this island. What was that? What did you feel like? Were you scared? Did you feel like, oh, what if this doesn't work? Maybe I should have kept this job. Like, what was that process like? What did you feel like?
Yeah, scared does not come even close to describing. I was like sweating the day I gave my notice. I'll never forget it. I called my sister, was like, "Are you sure I'm doing the right thing?" Um, and I woke up, I gave my notice, and I woke up the next morning. And you know how sometimes you wake up? I woke up with this feeling of dread. And I was like, "What's wrong? What happened? Something happened yesterday. I don't know something's different. Oh no. Oh my God, I quit my job. Oh my God, what did I do?" And I like panicked that moment and I cried and I called my sister. I'm like, I've made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have quit my job. And that was the last time that I ever have questioned it in my life.
Hmm.
Like I did have that moment of straight up panic of
So,
what have you done? Yeah.
so no
And
regrets.
no regrets, no.
Hmm.
And it's, you know, Apple has been doing fabulous. And my friends, I have friends who obviously I stay in touch with, some of my good friends who are in similar positions to me. Um, the amount of money that I would have right now in my bank account had I stayed at Apple is a lot.
Right.
And you could not pay me enough to have not made that decision. And people
That's
said,
a
well,
lot.
yeah, why wouldn't you wait for 5 years? And I'm like, nothing is given in this life. And 5 years, the experiences that I've had in the past 5 years and the things I've had to overcome and the stuff I've had to figure out and the people I've met is worth, you can't put a price tag on that. Now it's easy to say because I did somehow figure it out, right? And I have figured out a way to, I'm kind of making enough money to live and kind of manage it. I don't have a ton of money. I live, kind of frugally in both places, part-time in Minneapolis and part-time in Roatan, Honduras. But
Mhm.
it is a life that is perfect for me. It
Right.
is a dream for me. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. There are pathways that we can take to have a life that is tailored to what we want. And there are these kind of like packaged lifestyles and paths that we are kind of told to follow, do this, get this career and make this much money that equals success or that we're told equals success. And that's not always the case when we are in the position where we feel like, oh, well, I've done all these things, but I still feel like something's off, I'm not feeling as excited about getting up for this job, or, I'm kind of stressed. I don't really have time to spend with my family or to do the things that I want to do, to travel or whatever the case may be. So I think that's very bold for you to take that chance and to trust yourself and trust what it was that you envisioned for your life to create that happiness. And I want to know, what advice would you give to someone who feels like they're in a position where they have a great job? You had a great experience at Apple, you enjoyed the people you worked with, and they're making all this money, but they feel like something's still missing. Company is great, haven't necessarily done anything wrong, but what would you tell someone who's kind of at a crossroads, so to speak?
Yeah, I would, and this kind of goes to your eliminate, the part of your process around eliminate. And I was thinking about this, and I would say to people, stop being comfortable.
Mhm.
And that my when I quit my job, a friend gave me a necklace that said, um, "Your life expands or contracts in proportion to the level of your courage." And so I just kind of realized that the more comfortable you are, at Apple was really hard. The work was difficult, it was intense, but it was comfortable. I knew what to expect. It was good money. I had friends there. I knew I did a good job. My business leaders really enjoyed working with me. I enjoyed working with them. It was comfortable. And so, and I now wear this, I now wear this ring. This one of my rings says courage over comfort. And
Mm,
what I
I love
just
that.
yeah, what I've just learned in life is the more comfortable you are, for me, my life is smaller. And not that I want to introduce chaos all the time. There are times for comfort, and I for sure take those times where I intentionally choose comfort because that's what I need, and that's what the situation needs, and that's what I need to fulfill myself. But when we're choosing comfort because the other thing is too scary, for me, it contracts my life. And my life is less when I choose comfort over courage.
That is a word, Cara. That is the whole word. Thank you so much. I think that we
Yeah.
can all learn something from that. So courage over comfort. Courage over.
Yes. I do have a friend who I have told this to every now and then. And when I'll do something when I'm like, well, I think I would rather do this, he's like, comfort lover. And I, and
How dare you?
you
How
know,
dare
I'm
you
like,
be comfortable?
don't say that to me. And it's like my initials, right? Cara Lenz. So he's like,
Yes.
comfort lover, don't be a comfort lover. And I'm like, oh yeah. But it's a good, funny reminder to me, like, hey, don't take the easy way. Right. And and like I said, I do choose comfort sometimes. Like I choose it, but I'm intentional about when I choose it.
Right. And it sounds like it's not out of obligation or out of fear. It's,
Right.
that's just what works for you at the time. It sounds like
Yeah.
cases. All right.
Yeah. And I've learned like everything is just really going to be okay for the most part. You know,
Everything will be okay.
everything's going to be okay.
We
Even
gotta
if,
believe that.
yeah, even if and I have I'm lucky in the sense that I'm not proud. Like I knew like I can go wait tables if I need to wait tables. I can do what I need to do. And I do realize I do have the position of not having children. And so I don't have to worry about how am I going to put food on the table for other people.
Right.
And so that does make a decision like that easier when you're the only person you have to consider. I will tell you though, living this lifestyle, I have met a ton of families who make that decision for themselves. They do have kids, and they did decide to leave kind of the rat race and move to the same island where I live, and they do have children in school, and so it is possible. Um, I think it's a little less scary when your well-being is the only one you have to worry about. So
Right. I could see that. Yeah, I could
yeah.
see. All right. Well, this has been very enlightening, Cara. Thank you so much for sharing a piece of your journey as so many of us are also trying to figure out what's going to work for our lives and considering different options and possibilities. So it's great that you can share your perspective. And also, I wanted to ask, is there anything that you have coming up now that you have freed yourself from the rat race and you're living on your dream island? What projects and what things are you working on now to continue to add on to your dream life?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I have done HR consulting for the past few years, and I really have decided to pivot after talking to so many people. A lot of people look at me and say, like, how did you do that? You look so much healthier. You seem so much, better than kind of when you were in this space. And so I really have dedicated this my coaching and consulting business into helping people figure out how to find their health in a job without having to quit their job to find it, because not everybody has that luxury.
Right.
So I'm writing a book right now too. I'm working on a
Yes.
book that's going to
Cara is
be,
an upcoming author. Yes.
yes, it's going
I
to be
love
out
it.
in September, and it's called Health Work Balance, and it's really based on me coming back to work. I knew I had to come back to work, and I knew I had to do it in a way that wasn't going to kill me. And
Mm,
so I figured out, what would that take for me to go back to work and still be healthy mentally and physically in the workplace? How can you do that? And I've realized there's so many people trying to figure that out. And so through my coaching and consulting and hopefully writing this book, or hopefully people will find the book. I am writing the book. It's
yes.
almost finished. Hopefully I can help some people find their health
Absolutely.
in their job. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it shouldn't be a choice. It shouldn't be, one or the other. Like they should be able to coexist in some way. So I'm glad to hear that you're providing this book, this guide for people to see that it is possible to have a balance between your work life and your personal health and well-being.
Yeah, it is. You got to be intentional about it, but it is possible.
Yes, it is possible. All right. Well, anything else that you want to share before we wrap up for this episode?
I don't think so. Just thank you for having me. And I'm excited to see your book when it comes out. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will definitely keep everyone posted on Make It Happen. And again, we want to thank Cara for joining us today. Stay tuned for another episode and also for the release of Make It Happen. See you later.